Forever. Dog.
I imagine my feelings just existing in this endless void or room, and I can't access them, but like I don't feel it anywhere, if that makes sense.
God
Hold on.
God
Wait,
damn, that's what you gotta say in the session, Mac. Jesus Christ. Are you saying
like-
that? Are you saying there's an infinite void room where all your emotions are and you can't go in there?
Y'all got that infinite void room? Are we recording?
Are we recording?
We're recording. I could hear you. I can hear you now, and I could hear you.
Talking about Cody, go.
No, when I kept my headphones in and I went to make a cup of coffee, and I could hear you go, I need to talk. Can anybody hear me? Nobody can hear me.
No.
I need to talk. Is anybody here?
No.
Nobody's here. Nobody can hear me. And then you mumbled something to your cat. But I couldn't quite make out that moment. That
Well, I'm
sweet,
always
loving
mumbling
moment.
something to my cat.
Guys, look at my sweater.
It's cute.
That's
Isn't that
What
really
is that?
cute?
Where'd you thrift that?
It's a polar bear. Okay. Dude, I have a whole collection from the same company because they make a bunch of sweaters with animals on them, and they're adorable. And it's
Cute.
called
Don't
Christopher
say the
and
name
Banks.
unless they sponsor us.
Danny bleep that. Well, they don't
Danny
make sweaters
bleep
anymore. You have to find them all like in thrift stores or online. That's why it's fun.
Oh.
You can't just
also,
just
kidding, don't
show
bleep that.
up. You can't just order it from the store. Okay, you got to dig.
Yeah.
You got to dig
Yeah.
for these.
This
These are
is
like a
it's
reward.
a side quest. It's a
It's
side
a side.
quest.
Yes,
I'm
it
so
is a side
excited for you
quest.
to go thrifting with Sam.
I know. I don't know when we're doing that.
He's working on his live show.
But I have this one. I have a brown bear with a rake, and there's
I've
little
seen
leaves
that
everywhere.
one. Yeah, that one's
probably
very
have.
cute. It's good
I
colors.
have that same one in a lighter blue, but it's a cardigan. I have a green and tan one that has like little birdies and a little fence, and then there's like a little kitty on the back.
And you found all of those in thrift stores and stuff, or you've found
No, I
them?
found two of them. The other two, my girlfriend found for me online.
I found a massive shirt with neon paint on it that I got at the thrift store. That was my big find.
Oh, are you gonna? Do you have pics or like?
You
I
gonna
could
show
say-
us, or you just
Because
gonna
I'll be so honest, that
about
sounds really ugly, like just saying it. So I need
Let
to
me see
see
if I have
it.
a picture on my phone.
Okay.
Oh,
Hold on.
hi, Bugs. Oh my gosh, hello, Bugs.
Oh, Bugs is such a like fall cat. Like the eyes.
Yeah, she's been fly hunting. Like she is a killer. The amount of flies this cat has caught in the last 2 days, I don't know where all the flies have come from.
That's
First of
a
all, they're
great reason
massive.
to have a cat.
And she's just like, yeah, she's on the hunt. But yeah, things have, when this comes out, I'll already be in it. But like, there are so many things happening in the next few weeks. And I feel more excited than nervous, which is like,
pixelated
that's,
AF.
it's super
Oh,
pixelated,
you can see
but I
that?
can see how it would be cool. No, it's super pixelated, but like with the hat's the same color.
Let me
I
put it in the group
honestly-
chat.
Yeah, put it in
Also,
the
this
group
is
chat.
probably confusing for people who are listening because we just changed subject mid-sentence.
We'll put it up on the YouTube, but they look like Cheetos.
I just love the matching hat.
Not Cheetos. They look like Cheez-Its.
What were you saying, Alayna?
Well, when this is out, my podcast is out, so that's like exciting. 2, I start.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Wait, you know what I just realized?
What?
Your podcast is dropping within the same week as the 100th episode of this podcast. Is that right?
Can I celebrate
when are we
Alayna
doing
again?
that?
That's going to be our next recording.
Wow! Wow!
Hey everybody, Danny here from the editing room with a quick note. Obviously, this section has been miscalculated. Episode 100 has already come out, so please disregard any mentions of that and ignore the woman behind the curtain. Okay, back to the show. Bye.
I love that you are able to do this, like, kind of whispering, but we can tell it's a scream.
Yeah, it's like a whisper scream.
Thank you.
Wow. That note has never been hit before on the pod.
I don't want to do anything for the 100th.
Okay, we'll handle
Why?
it.
If we're not going to make more money off of it, why are we putting in effort?
Because it's fun for
Because-
friendship.
Because
for friendship and
memories,
fun.
dude.
We do this every week for friendship. We're
And
friendship.
for fun though, but isn't it fun? We can like
we're
dress up.
friendship.
It's fun. It's fun to dress up. It's
Yeah.
fun to.
We could
to
maybe
make a
we
big
could
deal
each
out
like
of
dress
things?
up as each other. Like
We're little
could-
creatures of ritual and
we could-
celebration. That's like what.
Yeah.
That's what gives our life little flavors for our
I like
little
ritual and
lives.
celebration. I do. But I'm
Okay,
working
so
right
can the
now.
one-
I'm working. This is work.
Right. But
okay,
me and Matt
Alayna-
will handle it.
we're gonna have to plan something, Alayna, that we can like cradle
sorry, I ruined your
Ashley
fun.
into without her realizing that we're doing
it's
it.
it's just like an office party. It's just like an office party, and I don't.
Oh, I would honestly
that's
love an office
that's
party.
Interesting. That's an interesting comparison. It is kind of like an office party.
It is.
I would
Like,
honestly
you
love
know what
that.
I want to do? I just want to hang out with you guys, not podcasting.
Well,
That
come
would
on,
be
come
more
on up.
of a celebration to me than
Okay,
podcasting.
here it is, Ashley. Get rich selling your technology.
Yes,
And then come
I'm gonna-
vacation in Vancouver.
I'm not going to come
We'll hang
vacation in
out.
Vancouver. I'm going to take us all to Spain. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh my God, let's do that.
I don't know why I
Take
picked
us to
Spain.
Can there's just I can't
Oh, no.
I can't say the word daddy in this podcast but the amount
it.
of times that I want
You
to
say it. You just said it.
Say it.
like I want to be like daddy's taking us to Spain but like I can't that
Hot.
it feels
Hot.
I thought that was adorable.
that's exactly the problem. That's the problem is that's I'm not trying to give Ashley that.
Do you
Okay.
want me to say it
Well-
for you? You could like feed me a
Yeah,
line.
you say it.
Okay.
Yeah, you say it.
What am I saying exactly? Daddy, take us to Spain.
You're saying yeah.
Okay, Daddy, take us to Spain.
I will.
No, like he is. Like daddy's taking us to Spain. We're
Oh,
excited
Daddy's
'cause
taking
he
us
is.
to Spain.
Yeah,
Do you guys
How
think
was
I'm
that?
actually going to sell my tech company? Do you believe in me?
I do. For sure I do.
Dude, if anyone can do anything, it's you doing something.
Put that on a shirt.
And I mean that.
Put that on a shirt.
I mean that.
Put that on a shirt.
Except coming back from a cancellation. That is
I-
harder. Well, optically,
No,
I
you
did it.
literally
You've
did, though.
absolutely done that.
No, I
You've
haven't.
absolutely done that.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
I survived.
Ashley.
Dude, it's like I always say, if anyone can do anything, it's you doing something.
It's- you can do
ChatGPT said I
something.
wasn't canceled. We asked it last night.
Shut
There you go.
That's great.
And honestly, that made me feel better, and that says so much about who I am. I'm like, oh, a robot parsed the entire internet and got all the information and made an
Yeah.
objective decision. Thank
Yeah.
you, ChatGPT. I believe you and you alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so you
I'll
need to
shut
sell
up.
the tech. You need to sell the tech company and get off the internet. I think is what we're.
Absolutely.
Is what needs to happen. Well, and I love that. Like that's. I wish. Because I'm like, okay, what's my long-term get off the internet plan? Become a therapist?
Exactly.
That's not.
And honestly, Alayna, who is that helping? Nobody. My tool.
How dare you?
That was
dare you.
really funny. That was really funny, and it only got that weird laugh from Mac that no one could hear.
Oh, actually, I loved that.
Actually.
That was great. Do it again.
No, but I'm gonna get so the podcast
Does
is
therapy
launching.
even work? BetterHelp.com/chosenfamily.
Wait, can I
depends.
actually ask you guys this?
Yeah.
We
Depends
talked
what your
about this
definition of
before.
work is. What are you looking for when you go to therapy? That's the question.
New brain.
What
Continue. Yeah. Then
what
no, it won't work.
signs
New brain.
should someone look out for when they're getting a new therapist that like the therapist is helpful to them? Because I'm getting back into therapy and I was like, what if my therapist is not good and I just don't even know that my therapist is not good because
I
I'm
would
like
say
their
that's
therapist.
true for 95% of the population.
Okay, so what
Very good question.
how do you make that I never can say
think.
this word correctly. Differentiation.
Alayna probably has
Great job.
real data and examples, and I have an idea.
Okay, you say
have
your idea while I
intuition.
try to think of actually helpful things.
I think the only way someone gets better in therapy is if they truly, actually want to make a change in their life, and they have
Oh yeah, absolutely.
like actually want to do it. And there's a difference between like wanting to want to do it and like really being able to look at your life and be like, this is not these are the things that are not working for me, and I really truly want to understand why, and to have the level of self-reflection to identify what those things are. And that's where you get the problems, right? There are people who want to change, but they don't have the level of self-awareness to like be like, okay, well, I'm the common denominator of all these things, yada yada. Like,
Well, so yes,
but
so
I think
there's-
going to therapy can help you get to that place.
Exactly. So there's levels, right? So I think that therapy can be helpful baseline, just because there are, I don't even want to say so many people, but like most people have not had the experience of sitting down with somebody who's going to unconditionally accept you.
Yeah.
But who's going to listen, who's going to reflect, who's going to hear you, who's going to hold the space, like, and in a confidential environment where you can literally say anything. So
I don't think people know
minus a
how
few
much
things.
you're just modeling being a good parent.
Absolutely.
Like, I think
But, like-
people don't realize when they go in and they're wrong and they tell them the therapist like something crazy about themselves, the therapist is not going to say you're crazy. The therapist is kind of going to cradle you like a little baby wavy so that you just have a place where you're safe.
Not always.
Not always, but like a lot of the time. I think a lot of the time.
Depends how good your therapist is, right? And like what kind of skill
Well,
level
I
they're
see
at.
all
But
this stuff online of people talking about their therapist just reinforcing their bad behavior.
yeah, not good therapy. Not good therapy.
Can I say a science thing very quickly?
Yeah.
Just journaling increases is like so good for you. Like just
Totally.
venting via
Absolutely.
a journal. It, like people who do that versus people who don't, that makes a huge benefit to their science behind this. That's very beneficial to your mental health. So even just going to therapy without necessarily like quote unquote results is going to help you just by even just getting your
Dude, I have to
Exactly.
be so honest. I kept journals all through high school and through the beginning of college. But then when I started doing social media, I developed this extreme fear that I would
You've
drop my
told
journal
us about
somewhere
this.
and that someone would
someone would
find
break in
it
and
and
steal
read
it.
all of my inner thoughts. And so now I have trouble journaling. Even
So-
though it was really
someone
helpful for
wrote
me for a long time.
In the Kelsey Kreppel subreddit, I wanted to punch this person in the face. Kelsey was like, I'm afraid of being canceled on the internet. And someone wrote in the subreddit, like, you just outed yourself. Like, what are you afraid of? It's like, you. I'm afraid of you
my
specific.
God.
That is exactly who I am afraid of. You.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
We all have cancelable inner worlds. All of us. And so the
Damn,
idea that
that was crazy.
Yeah.
By an insane standard. Not by a
Oh.
reasonable standard, no. But by an insane
Yes.
standard, yes. Which does exist on the internet.
yeah.
And normal
I
people
understand.
are afraid of this too.
So I know. That's an even more wild thing. But okay, so you've got baseline therapy helpful for just being in a space where you can share freely, be accepted, learn that your experience is normal, all of those things. The next level is that I'm this is basic, just to be clear. This is me just talking. I'm just talking. This is
Yeah.
not like based on
Yap
any
it up, girl.
science or anything. This is my own thoughts. The next level would be the self-reflection. So not just getting the affirmation that you are wonderful and perfect and lovable, but also getting the self-reflection on like, oh, maybe I'm the problem. You know, in these scenarios, maybe these are the problems. There's the
Yeah.
wanting to change. But then, like Ashley said, the biggest question of like, will therapy help you is, are you going to do the work and blah, 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 do the work. It's an annoying phrase. Everybody says it. What I mean by that is, are you going to actually make changes? In order for things to change, you have to do them differently. So that's the real question is like, are you going to leave that therapy session, go out into your life and try something different?
Yeah.
Like actually make a different choice next time whatever situation comes up. That's the question. And so that's not about so much the therapist as it is about the person in therapy.
Yeah.
But from a scientific perspective, from an empirical standpoint, the number one predictor of whether or not someone is an effective therapist or is a quote unquote good therapist is whether or not they ask for client feedback at the end of sessions. That's the number one predictor.
Just straight up if they Like they just straight up ask.
So at the end of a session, or even afterwards, sending like a feedback form or something,
Every session?
asking. Not necessarily every
That
session,
feels
but
excessive.
regularly checking in and going, how's this feeling for you? How was today? How am I doing? How do you feel about this, about what's happening here?
Interesting.
Checking in with the client regularly. Hi, sir.
That might be
Very interesting.
Like when I was a teacher, the biggest indicator of good grades or like nailing a class was self-confidence. So it might actually be one of those things where it's like confidence in the topic. Like, I'm excited to learn about this. I think I can be good at this.
From the student side, not from the
student.
teacher side?
Yeah. So I think for the therapist, that might just be like someone who really cares about their job. You know what I mean?
For
like,
sure.
Yeah.
As opposed to what that actually... With Fred, my therapist, I was with him for so long, we had disagreements. Like, I felt like I could say to him, I don't think you're right about this. And he fostered an environment where
which is so healthy.
I felt like I could do that. And I do feel that way with Leslie, but honestly, I probably almost feel that way because I know I'm allowed to feel that way. Like, I've been in therapy for so long. But
You had a
that's
good
wild.
therapist who
I
modeled
don't
that
think I
for
could
you.
say
That is
that.
such healthy, like that's the parent-child dynamic. That's the dynamic of like, here, this is a space where we can have disagreement and it can be cooperative.
fine. Yeah.
It can be, yeah, exactly.
I think this is why I
But I'm
struggle
not
so much
sure
with
how
therapy.
often he explicitly said to me, how was this session for you? Or like, how you feel like
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
doing? Or I'm just not sure. And I don't think that Leslie really says that, but also I do feel like I can...
So, Alayna, does that have to be a direct question, or are there ways that a therapist could suggest that they were asking that without being so direct? Like, I'm wondering if your therapist doesn't ask you that question, but let's say, for example, you're in session and you discuss something, and after you discuss it, they're like, how did you like the way we talked about that? I don't know. Something like
I
that.
feel like with Fred, he would just be like sensing if I didn't agree, or like he'd be like, where, if I like wasn't immediately responding to something he said, he'd be like, where are you right now? Like, what are you thinking about right now? But like,
Oh my God, I hate
I don't
when
know
people
when
ask me
that started. I don't know.
I don't think, Mac, I don't think you should base, like when you're looking for a new therapist, I don't think you should decide whether or not it's the right therapist for you based on whether or not they ask you for feedback. My understanding is that yes, it should be pretty direct in terms of, but like Ashley just said, even something like, yeah, where are you right now? Or even what you said, the way that we're talking about this, how does it feel for you right now? Like, exactly, check-ins like that to let the person know that they can give you feedback, and also to see where they're at, because we can be wrong. Like, we can be thinking that someone is feeling a certain thing, interpreting their body language and their tone and all of that in a certain way, and we can be wrong. So checking in is, it's just, I think it's good
also
in
like
a lot of
a
ways.
therapist can only work with what you give them. So like, for a successful therapy relationship, you need to be able to, I mean, I remember when with Fred, like there was a point where I was so low that I almost felt embarrassed to tell him how I was feeling, because I was like ashamed. And then there was a point where I was like, you have to tell him everything or you're not going to get like the thing, like what you want out of this. And there was like certain confrontation with it. I think this is really interesting too, because Fred is like a cis straight guy. So I mean, I guess because he's cis, I mean, I'm cis, but like I'm not like I don't know. I don't know. But like I never really cared that he like understood my perspective. I thought that was far less valuable than someone who's just good at their job and empathetic. I will.
I think, yeah.
Sometimes
You're absolutely right.
I read about therapy, like therapists who advertise their services online and like talk about like the things that they are and the things they like talking about, and I'm like, that matters so much less to me than, because everyone has such a different experience. It's
Well,
like,
and that's
there's
part of
so many things.
And it can actually be, I'm speaking anecdotally, but it can actually be a detriment at times to have a therapist who shares a lot of your life experience.
The projection must be out of control.
Yes, because they can think that your experience is still different than theirs. So like it can actually be, it's not a given that your therapist should share, your various identity points or life experience. It can be helpful. It can be unhelpful. It's going to depend on the therapist. It's going to depend on the person. Okay, Ashley, and I have to think about this too. For Mac, if she's starting therapy, just starting, and she's trying to figure out which therapist is the right therapist for me, what are some things to look for?
I have no idea other than that. I mean, like, I'm such a bad example of this because I don't.
Mac, what do you think would be helpful?
Dude, I don't know, honestly. Every time I do therapy in the past, it's helpful up to a point, but I think we talked about this a little bit where I just find it difficult to find someone who says something to me that I haven't already thought of. Like, that sounds like,
because I think that's like
that sounds kind of egotistical, but I mean, literally, I think I struggle with therapy so much because it's like a relationship. It's not, this is the problem, and you can either choose A, B, or C as your solution, and these are the facts of the case, and this is everything laid out.
Is that what you're looking for? Because then look for CBT.
No, because I do that all myself.
Okay.
I think describing like the type of therapy that I do, going in like looking for advice, like concrete things, is just not the way to look at therapy in my opinion. Like for me, like the struggles that I have in my life are not, and there's so much science that backs this up. Like happiness has almost nothing to do with like any of the things that we think it has to do with. Like you can basically, as long as you're not making catastrophic choices, you can make all the different choices and still lead a happy life. Like it's more about, are you willing to go to deep places with this person? Are you willing to share with this person? Are you willing to?
It depends. Yes, it depends what you're looking for. Like what, you might not tell us this, but like, why are you going to therapy? Is it because there's a certain problem or issue? Okay, then, oh, hello, Fulton. Then, oh, look at this sweet boy.
He's very sweet.
Then, okay, there are certain, depending on if there is like we would call it a presenting problem. If there is like a single presenting problem, different therapies, like different modalities, can be better or worse for different problems.
Oh.
It really depends what you are looking for. If you're looking to I don't know, deconstruct or talk about the past, more what Ashley's type therapy is like psychoanalytic, right? So it's more, you go in, you talk, the therapist listens and kind of pulls patterns and themes and that kind of thing. There's CBT, which is more action oriented, like more solve the problem. There's emotion focused therapy. There's somatic therapy. There's it's hard to answer your question of what to look for when I don't know what you want. Like, what do you?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But what if I asked what are universal signs that this is not a good therapist? Like,
not a good therapist. Okay.
Like, I guess I'm afraid because I see this stuff about people getting therapists that, like I was saying earlier, just reinforce everything the person already thinks. And I'd rather have somebody that challenges what I think than somebody that just agrees with everything and like excuses poor behavior, if that makes sense. So I'm wondering,
go into the therapy session and say that and see what they say.
I can say
I
that.
also think it's just like,
Absolutely, you can say that. And how they respond is
Okay,
probably a
that's
good
crazy.
indicator of whether or not it's a good fit.
and again, I think what you're describing is like what you're bringing to therapy. Like, I think people whose bad behavior is reinforced, there's so many layers of this that I from being in a relationship, I have heard what my girlfriends think their therapists say to them. I have no idea if that's what the therapist actually said to them. I have no idea what information was presented to that therapist. And you know what I mean? I have no clue. I have no clue. There's no way that you can, it's sort of like the internet. You're getting like a little clipped piece of something, and then you're hearing about a comment, or you're hearing, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just telephone. It's what you bring to your session, what you're getting out of it that I think.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think of, universally bad, like a universal, because I understand what you're asking. I'm like, what would be I think a universal red flag would be if you go into the session and you feel judged, like that right away. If you say things and you're feeling, I think that's probably a universal red flag. If you're feeling uncomfortable in the way that you're feeling like the therapist is judging you, because that you're not going to really get anywhere with that.
Yeah, you want to feel safe for sure.
You want to feel safe, but also discomfort is normal, right? So it's like, feel safe, yes, but also feeling uncomfy and not wanting to share is not a red flag. You know, not wanting to tell the therapist your deepest, darkest secrets, right? When you get there, not a red flag. Like, that's normal. That's
Maybe
human.
I'll just wait and see if anything rings an alarm bell for me, and then I can come back with a specific issue and be like, is it weird that my therapist did this? And then you guys will have better insight as to if that is a negative.
Have you had anything in the past that you felt like,
I was going to say, like, what is the fear about having... I feel like it's more about, like, is it a productive match versus unproductive, as opposed to, like, bad
That's
therapy
exactly
that
what
will
it
hurt you.
You're absolutely right. That's a much better word for it. Like, I worry that I'll spend all my time talking about the stuff that I don't really want to talk about, and it won't be productive, and there will be no positive outcome from it.
Productive? Okay, so what you need to think about is, what does productive mean? What does that mean? If you're saying, if you want it to be productive, what's that going to feel like? What's it going to look like? When you say you want a positive outcome, what is a positive outcome? What is that? What's the change you're hoping to see? Is it a feeling? Is it a comfort? Is it a, let's say there's, like, I don't know, trauma things that keep coming up that you want to address them, or, like, for yourself, understanding what productive and what positive outcome means can be helpful.
That makes sense. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
This was really helpful.
I also think it just
Max,
like takes
I'm done
so
talking
long.
about this now.
I'm like, okay, I'm capped out on emotional stuff.
That's enough.
I think
Me
for
giving you guys
me-
no information and being like,
That's okay.
okay, that's
Yeah,
all
that's
about me.
Well, like, I think it depends, like, what you're saying with goals. Like, the big breakthrough that I had was that I needed kind of two techniques. I had spent, like, a lifetime on understanding myself, and this is, like, in my show. I had spent, like, a lifetime understanding myself and really feeling like I had such a lot of self-awareness and a big grip on kind of where a lot of my stuff came from. But because my nervous system was so damaged, I couldn't really find ways to actually put into practice the things that I knew. And I felt like a lot of shame around, like, not being able to. So as soon as I started meditating, I had massive breakthroughs, like truly massive breakthroughs. And I think there's one way you can look at it where you can say, like, is therapy even helpful? But the way that I sort of look at it was like, I just had this sort of one little bug in my code that was like, not that it wasn't a big deal, but, like, I had built all this other foundation, and I really needed also to, like, pinpoint this one little problem that, like, couldn't really be helped by my therapist. Because I think if I had said to Fred, why can't I make progress in this regard, he might not have even known what was going on, because he didn't have access to sort of, like, my inner
I think
sensations.
Yes, what you're what you're describing about the nervous system is so important. And then the shame that you described around knowing cognitively what changes you wanted to make, understanding in a self-reflective way where the issues were, and then not being able to make a different choice or to respond differently or whatever the thing is. Oh my God, the nervous system and like the way that different trauma and different experiences and the way that we grow up, we are hardwired. Physiologically, we're hardwired to respond certain ways to certain situations. So that's where if something like that,
to feel
somatic,
so much shame around like why like can't I, and oh my God, I have so many thoughts on this. This is why like I have like when that we've brought this up before where it's like it's so easy to talk about mental illness in the abstract, but when you start seeing mental illness or like these types of problems being played out on the internet stage and everyone villainizes and demonizes these people, but if they had come out on their own PR timeline and was like, this is the work that I did on myself, we'd be like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's so
totally,
it's it's very interesting.
And so to keep it with the therapy, what kind of therapy to look for, anybody who's listening to this and going, oh my God, this is resonating with me so much, look up somatic therapy, because that's a type of therapy that's all about connecting. It's something I'm really interested in. It's all about reconnecting the mind and the body, and not in some like hippy dippy way, but in like your nervous system is responding, and you can think about what you want to think about all day long. It's not gonna... You need to actually get in touch with your physical body and what's happening. And that's what, Ashley, what you mentioned, sensations, you mentioned meditation. Those are just such big pieces. And then attachment therapy can be helpful in terms of kind of figuring out where your programming came from. And mindfulness-based therapies, compassion-based therapies. I mean, I'm biased because I'm really excited about all of those things. But I think, Mac, what you were saying earlier about when they're kind of reflecting their ideas about where or why or what or how, that you're like, I've already thought of that. Yes, because I think maybe what would be helpful is to get you out of your thinking brain. Like that's, I think all three of us probably have that.
If I
same
can meet
kind of
somebody that
issue.
can do that, I would be very impressed.
Well, that's
Look
like
up
that?
somatic therapy.
Well, there's also
therapy.
like things that you can, I think, like what's kind of amazing is that there is so much information out there. If you type in your symptoms and you start to like go digging, like you can find things that you can do quite literally for free that will like help you with this stuff. And obviously then you take this information to a therapist and you talk about it and you find maybe they don't cover that, but maybe they know someone who does, or they can, you know what I mean? There's so many resources available. And it's, I think for most people, probably a combination of things that they need to look into to cover everything that they have going on. But like, I know something that I talked about with Jen like a couple days ago is like, I don't know if you don't know you are not, the unknown unknowns are sort of the biggest problem with trying to tackle anything. And I think like you just need to have a curious mind and kind of like go try a bunch of different things and get a bunch of different opinions. And like you just kind of have to look at yourself from a place of curiosity. But I think like for Jen, for example, like she just cannot
just before. Can I just say, based on what you just said, you're speaking to, again, what we talked about earlier, the like, it's the person going into therapy who's going to have to do the work. Like you just described, you have to try a bunch of stuff. You have to be curious. It's not, you're not going to go into therapy, sit there for 50 minutes and walk out a different person. It just doesn't happen like that. Like takes intentional energy and time and effort. But okay, back to what Jen.
Well, like for example, Jen has way less. She's just not as emotional a person as me, and I don't even know if that's the way to describe it. But like her energy, her emotions exhaust her. You know, emotions are exhausting, but like different people have different thresholds. So she finds it really hard to even like access her emotions, put them into words and stuff like that. And I said, I was like, just like having practice, like talking to someone about your emotions, like can maybe even unlock stuff, the unknown unknowns. Like, oh, I didn't even realize how much this mattered to me because like, I know what matters to me because my nervous system is going to go into fucking hyperactivity, which is probably a clear clue to me that like this is something that matters to me. Oh, I'm weeping when I say that sentence. Maybe there's something behind that. You know what I mean? But like for someone, I think, Mac, you are probably more similar to my girlfriend. Like,
definitely.
Ew,
I was
guys.
literally just about to ask. Yeah, I'm just like your girlfriend, Ashley. We're very similar looking, very similar with our emotions. But I was just thinking about what you were saying because whenever I feel an emotion, I'm like, this is either good or bad. And then I'm like this either feels nice or feels bad. And then after that, I'm like, okay, I don't really know where to go from here. Like,
right. Well, you're, and
I'm not feeling great, but I don't know what kind of not great.
Right.
So there's what Ashley's describing as her experience is this like hyper arousal, right? There's like a very intense physical response.
Ashley, you're
And then it
kind of like
sounds
my
like Jen-
girlfriend.
There we go. We partner. Look at us. We partner up with people because I'm the Ashley, right? I've got that hyper. Like I have these kind of big physical responses, weeping, exactly that kind of stuff. And then surprise, surprise, we partnered with the opposite, just like we've all just said. But there's also hypoarousal, right? So this is that camp of person generally goes to a more dissociative state. And it's not always as extreme as like actual dissociation. But the word tired is very interesting because that's exactly, Ashley, you and I, when we experience some kind of emotion, there's like this amping up. Whereas for Jen or Mac, possibly, it's a shutting down. So it's like the system goes, nope. Which, okay, sorry, this is it's
Which
really
seems
interesting
so
to me
much more
because-
useful to me in the modern
no,
world,
because,
just by the way.
well, sure, maybe. But what is also interesting and lesser known about people who go to this kind of shutdown place is they actually have that hyperarousal ramp up. It's not like they don't experience that. Their nervous system starts to ramp up, but then the protective mechanism that they've learned is shut it down. So they start having the up, and whereas Ashley, me and you, we just continue on the up until it's like too much and now we're overflowing. They then go into a hypoarousal state and everything slows down and they get really tired. Often the descriptions are, I feel tired, I feel, in a more extreme way, it can be, I feel like things aren't real or like I'm watching a movie or I'm not really there. I feel like nothing really has consequence or none of this is really matters because it doesn't feel important anymore. There's a whole host of, so then it's kind of like, why do I need therapy? Why do I need to connect to these things? Because like you just said, Ashley, this feels it feels like adaptive. Like
Yeah,
I don't actually,
it's sort
this
of
doesn't
like,
actually matter.
I imagine therapy for that type of person is so difficult to even begin to understand what is underlying because like
Yes.
they don't have. I said to Jen, I was like, she hates therapy because of how it makes her feel for what we've literally just
Absolutely.
described. It's exhausting for her, and I don't blame her. But I said like, maybe if you can just start once a month because my big fear is that every single one of my needs is going to be met in this relationship because I'm just this squeaky little tire. But like at a certain point, you realize way too late that some of your needs or some massive amount of needs are not being met. And it's a big problem because you just weren't even aware that like that was happening. I hope she's okay with me saying this. But
No, I think that's such a. I don't think you're saying anything. That could be a very broad. There are so many people. I don't know if they're listening because that's. I don't know what the demographics of our audience is in that way. But
it's also like so the antithesis of my experience. I have a hard time even understanding it. Also, these people like that I do think it's better for society that most people are dissociative because like you just kind of coast. Like it just seems like such a better. You're not like breaking plates and ruining lives. Like you're just kind of.
Well, until
Yeah, but we can't use the
unknowns
feeling wheel.
pop up. Exactly. Yeah. Mac, are you relating to this? What we're saying about the kind of
Totally. But I was just
yeah.
thinking about the emotion wheel that we used to play with on the pod. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but it makes it so hard to use that. I wish that each finger lit up for a different emotion. And so then when I was like feeling bad, I could be like, what
You just
bad
look
am
at
I
your
feeling? And
hands.
I'd look at my hand and I'd be like, oh, I'm feeling anger. Or be like,
Okay,
Well,
so
I will
you know what you just described, Mag? You just
A great
described
invention
like
is what I just described.
No, a somatic exercise of checking in with your body, of going, oh, I'm having a feeling.
Yeah.
Let me check in for a second.
I was about to say you can do this with meditation. You can be like, oh, I feel like
Yeah.
my stomach. I feel like my breath is a little
Yeah.
shorter. I'd be like,
Yeah.
and then honestly, you can Google those things and figure out which.
Which emotion?
okay,
Yeah.
but every time I do that, I imagine my feelings just existing in this endless void or room, and I can't access them. But like, I don't feel it anywhere. If that makes sense.
God
Hold on,
damn.
hold on.
God
Wait,
damn,
let me take that- let me
that's
take
what you
that in.
gotta fucking say in the session, Mac. Jesus fucking
Yeah.
Christ. Are you
Yeah.
saying
Like-
that? Are you saying there's an infinite void room where all your emotions are and you can't go in there?
Y'all got that
Jesus
infinite void
fucking
room?
Christ. Jesus fucking Christ.
You guys been to the room? Jesus.
Okay, so you know how we were just
Damn.
saying at the beginning,
I didn't mean
like
for that
you
to
go
be
into
like
therapy.
deep and dark.
No, and it makes people, and then you like realize that your experience is normal. The other part of helpful therapy can be going in and saying something that you think is totally normal and fine, and then the therapist saying,
No, I never thought of
actually,
emotions
I don't.
as being an infinite
yeah,
void
no,
room.
actually, that's not normal, and it's not a way that you have to live. Like, actually, that sounds really challenge. That sounds really hard. That sounds really like
It's
a lot.
honestly fine. It's just like, it's just. See, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. It's
See,
like
it's fine because you're yeah.
You're
But
disconnected.
You're
from it.
disconnected from it. Which
Yeah,
is
I
great.
guess.
I wish I could have that. Like I so wish. I mean, this is why some people really I think this is why some people really viscerally respond to my work. Is I'm in a bad way. Like I cannot I'm the opposite where it's like if something interesting comes up, however uncomfortable, however awful, I just want to get to the bottom of it. I just want to
yeah.
crack it open, whether that's like
Your void room is open and everything
Yeah.
is
It's
streaming
not
in
even
and
a room.
out.
yeah, I'm like, what's that? A weird pedophilia joke in the corner? I'm gonna go grab that because
Let's go grab that one. Yeah.
like, and I just don't feel. It makes certain people just wildly uncomfortable how comfortable I am with discomfort. And I don't know. I think that's like an interesting part of art that I love to explore. But man, like it really upsets people sometimes. It really upsets people.
This is so.
Well, here we are.
Well, look at us.
Yeah.
I have a quick audience question. I feel like we should do one because we already
Yeah,
didn't do one.
we definitely need to do one. We are a
We
bunch
get
of
our
yappers
questions-
today.
Yes, we're chatty.
We are chatty.
We get our questions from patreon.com/chosenfamilypodcast. Ashley has given up and is like no longer yelling at you to go and be a patron, which is kind of
this
concerning.
is broader. I probably should have brought this up in an update, but I think this is broader. Well, it's kind of like my tech thing. I'm just like, I'm like deeply invested in sort of a nihilistic view right now, where it's like only I have the power. So, like what?
Excuse me.
Nihilism.
Yes, Mac?
Is it about
Yeah.
nihilism?
Nothing matters, essentially.
Hold your horses right
Nihilism.
there.
Nihilism means nothing matters.
But there's
really.
sort of like
Oh, okay.
new philosophy-ish around nihilism that this can be very positive because it's sort of like, okay, well, if nothing matters, then I might as well do things the way I want to do them.
Yeah.
And so right now, over the past year and a half, I've become like deeply untethered and sort of like looking at the world from like this increasingly sort of relativistic.
My mind just flashed me Sandra Bullock in Gravity floating in space when you said that.
That is how I feel.
That's
that is how I feel. But like equally disconnected from everything, and like because of what I'm describing, like different people viewing the world from such different points, I'm like, what is even real? Like what is even real? So that's where I'm at, and I'm sort of applying
are you
that
okay?
to.
You guys can't come at me for my endless void room.
No, I'm
and then
happy
say
with-
stuff like that.
I am okay in that, like, my personal life is great. Like, I love how I spend my time. I love my girlfriend. But, like, as it relates to my work life, yeah, I'm deeply struggling. I have been deeply struggling for, like, a while. And so, but I'm tired of struggling. So I don't like struggling.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, like, redefine so many things so that I can just be... This resonates with me because like at a certain point, like it's up to me. Like no one else is gonna fix this. And if it's not working the way that I want it to be working, I'm obviously gonna have to make some dramatic changes.
Yeah.
Ratify.
I totally feel you on that because a while
I'm gonna
ago
sell a
I
tech
was like,
company.
yeah, I totally feel you on that. And so like I'm selling this tech company that I made too. So super relatable for me.
It's called Finger Lights, and it makes your lights.
Sorry,
light up for
I
different feelings.
monopolized the time away from the question.
Guys, that would be a great idea if we could figure out a way. The three of us.
I'm sure with the
finger
brain
lights.
implants
There
coming,
actually is a
we'll
way,
get there.
and we already described it to you. You can just focus on sort of the sensations that you're having, and
That doesn't work for
But
room people.
Mac wants
Room
wants to
people.
identify her feelings without feeling them, though. So that's the problem.
Exactly. Thank you, Alayna.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send
So
this
we need a
episode to
way.
Jen.
LOL. I'm thinking
Okay,
about me
so-
and Jen having an emotional conversation and
Oh
it
my
just
God.
being like the most disassociative.
Well, I think for someone. Oh, sorry. Let's take a listener question.
We are freaking
let's-
yappy today, you guys. We
are
need to cut
yappy.
it.
What is in the air? Well, you know what? Because we're in the same time zone again. Well, not the same.
I
but
was
like we're
gonna
on the
say
same
it's because
continent.
we've been doing every week, so we don't have these bigger gaps in between.
See, I feel like the bigger
talking to
gaps
each
would
other.
make us chattier. Because
No,
you should
we
have
get in a
more
groove,
updates,
dude.
But like
We,
here
like-
we are. Yeah, it's true. It's
No, I
true.
don't
We're
know.
grooving. We're moving and we're
I
grooving.
feel normal.
So, sorry.
Ashley feels normal.
This feels like
Hey,
a regular day
that's
for
great.
me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
So-
it's only ever off for us.
Ashley may be nihilistic about the Patreon and everything, but me and Mac are still trying to make
I don't
our
know.
way
Maybe
through.
give me a
for
reason
it.
to care. Give me a reason to care. Give me a reason.
I can give
Who
you-
is this?
I can give you
is
3
anyone
reasons to
listening
care.
right now? Is anyone out there?
Wow, Ashley is in
One
room
zero
right now.
1011
You know what I'm saying?
1001.
Like, if you don't want to pay for this, fine. It will eventually not exist. Why should I have to? Then you'll be like, oh, maybe I should have given $1. There are consequences to your actions, and I can't control you.
You're exactly
Okay,
right.
I needed like a little bit from Ashley. And we got it, so that I feel satisfied. Patreon.com/Chosen Family Podcast. What she said is true. That is the way that we do this. Like, you hear ads few and far between on this show, which is great. Like, we don't really see a cent of that. Like, if I'm being totally like that, we really, I don't know where that goes because it doesn't come to us. But the Patreon is really is how we make this possible. Okay.
Yeah.
So just a quick question,
Or
which
don't.
is actually really interesting.
Don't give us the money and
Danny,
let this
cut that part.
no, keep it. Let this implode. Why don't you just let this be the value that you give it?
Ouch. Damn.
I don't like that one as much.
No, what I'm saying is I'm being a therapist now. I'm throwing it back on them. How much do you actually care?
Yeah. That's good therapy work.
Question
Should I ask this question?
No.
Yeah,
Thank you
we're
so
running
much for
over.
listening, everybody.
No, it's like a quick one. It's a quick one.
Go,
and I
go,
actually
just
wanna
say
know
it,
the
just
answer
say it.
because this is a me and Mac question for sure. But maybe,
boy.
Ashley, you will have an instant response. Do you think Monday, Wednesday, Friday are even or odd?
They're odd.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah. I'm yes, I think so too. Monday, Wednesday,
Ashley?
Friday is odd, but Wednesday feels even.
Isn't
but it
this
doesn't make
the
sense.
question? Monday and Wednesday are even, and Friday is odd.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Monday.
Saturday
Sorry,
is
guys.
even, Sunday is odd.
Okay,
No.
you guys
Tuesday
are
is odd.
ridiculous.
No, Sunday is even.
No,
You guys.
Saturday is even. They can't both be even. So then
That's
Sunday
what we're
has
saying.
to be.
We're saying it doesn't make any sense.
Monday, first day of the week, odd number. Tuesday, second day of the week, even number. Wednesday, third day of the week, odd
But it's
number.
a feeling, Mac. What's the feeling?
It's
Get
not a
your fingers out
feeling,
of here.
it's a
Get your
number.
finger lights out of here. How does
No.
it feel?
It depends
First day
if
of the
you're
week, second day of
counting.
the week,
Is
third
it,
day of the week.
is it base zero? There's two questions here. There's the feeling, and then
Yeah.
there's like base zero. Is Sunday zero or is Monday zero?
No,
Monday
there's no zero.
is zero. Monday's
Yeah,
zero.
Monday is
Monday-
zero.
So Monday
is not
even,
zero
Tuesday
because it's
is
a day.
odd.
It can't exist
Yeah.
at zero.
But even and odd are numbers. That's a number. Like the whole thing is. That's why the question's funny, Mac.
Yeah.
Wait, it's funny.
What does it
Why is
feel
it funny?
like? Yeah. What does it feel like? What's the feeling? What color are they? You know,
Yeah.
what color are the days? That kind of thing.
Oh my lord. This is such an easy question to answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Right.
No,
so then it depends
Wednesday
which one is
feels
the base. You're
even.
saying that it's a base one and one starts on Monday.
I understand.
Thursday
yes,
When the
feels
one is
reality
Monday.
odd.
is it's the zero is the first index and the zero is Monday, in my opinion.
I'm not liking
Friday
that.
is odd, no question. Thursday
Monday?
feels both even and odd. Friday.
Friday's odd.
Monday, yeah, Friday's odd, but Thursday's like
Tuesday
even and
Thursdays.
odd.
No, Tuesdays and Thursdays are even for sure.
Tuesday's odd to me. Monday's even. Tuesday's odd. Wednesday's even. Thursday's both. Friday's odd. Saturday's even. Sunday's odd. Done.
Monday, okay, yeah. Monday is even. Tuesday is even.
Odd. Tuesday's, well, I could go either way because Tuesday has a U in it, which feels even.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord. You guys.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thursday
next
is
week.
prime, but it's also even, which is crazy. I just said an insane thing. It's
If
Thursday's the number
we-
2. Tuesday's the number 2, but Monday's the number 0.
If we are not all operating using the same parameters,
I'm
we
with
will
you.
never
I'm with
agree.
you. I'm with
That's
you.
why it's a funny
That's
question,
the
Matt.
point. That's the point.
Okay, ha ha.
It's a feeling. Open your door. Open your emotion void. Get in there. How does it feel?
Okay, I'm going back in my room. Send the episode.
Go into the room.
I'm going to the room.
Max, go into the room. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Nothing is real. The currency you give us is imaginary. So don't even worry about it.
Chosen Family is a Forever Dog production, hosted by Ashley Gavin, Alayna Joy, and Mac INGEMI. Edited by Danny Jewell, executive produced by Zoe Applebaum. Forever Dog Productions is Joe Cilio, Alex Ramsey, and Brett Boehm.
Forever